Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I know that usually you don't want your name to be associated with a pedophile, criminal, mass murderer, and put in the same sentence as partners or people that schedule meetings, or even worse, flying on one of those guys' planes. Unfortunately, we have here Noam Chomsky, or Chomsky, that's how I heard it, Chomsky, and I will tell you how I heard it that way, from some Israeli friends, if you can believe that. I thought, maybe not friends, but in the process of becoming friends. I will tell you the story after I figure out what's going on here. So, Noam Chomsky, that linguist that I admired and I still admire to a certain extent. I think he's an asset. The problem is he's an anarchist, and I go as far as I can go with him. And anyway, let's say I had my Chomsky time, I don't know, 15 years ago or so, or even more, but then it died out. As I had my little Karl Marx time for a few months many years back, which died out. So anyway, Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky, we find out he had some relationship with what this guy's name? Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein or Epstein. Here you have him. You can find this in many media outlets today because it's a very hot topic. I didn't pick it because it's a hot topic. I'm kind of like disappointed because I have Chomsky and Epstein in the same, issue. And it seems like they had some, I don't know, relationship, business relationship, I do not know. But let me read this article from you, coming from today, April 30th, 2022. Current CIA Director William Burns and prominent academic Noam Chomsky, as well as other high-profile individuals, planned to meet with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, a U.S. newspaper reported on Sunday. The report cites a trove of documents that revealed a wide circle of individuals who associated with Epstein after his first conviction for a sex offense in 2008. So after he was convicted. Convicted means he should do time. The newly named individuals appeared in neither the so-called Black Book of Contacts nor in the flight logs of Epstein's private jet. The documents do not provide details on the nature of the meetings or whether they all took place, the report noted. Burns scheduled 3 meetings with Epstein in 2014 while serving as Deputy U.S. Secretary of State, the report said. CIA spokeswoman Tammy Cooperman Thorpe confirmed a meeting between Burns and Epstein as he was preparing to leave government service, the report said. The director did not know anything about him, Epstein, I'm quoting, other than he was introduced as an expert in the financial services sector and offered general advice on transition to the private sector, end quote. Cooperman Thorpe said they had no relationship. They didn't use any, I don't want to be nasty. Let's go. Chomsky was scheduled to fly with Epstein to have dinner at his Manhattan townhouse in 2015, the report said. Chomsky reportedly said he met with Epstein alongside former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak to discuss Israel policies regarding Palestinian issues and the international arena. Epstein also scheduled other meetings between Chomsky and other academics, including Harvard professor Martin Novak, the report said. I got Novak, I got Epstein, I have Barak, I have Chomsky, I have Cooperman. Whoo-hoo. And I'm quoting, first response is that it is none of your business, Chomsky said when asked about his ties with Epstein. And I'm quoting again, second is that I knew him and we met occasionally. This is per Chomsky. The documents also revealed dozens of meetings between Epstein and Obama administration counsel Kathleen Rumler in the years after she met Pop, we don't care. Let's move back to Chomsky. So, I don't know what the relationship over there. I don't think he was minors, but I don't know. Let any investigation get going if that's the problem right there. Now, Chomsky. Chomsky was, I think, considered persona non grata in Israel a few years back. I think it was about 2019, something like 17, 18. He showed up in Tel Aviv, I think. He landed over there, and he was not allowed to get inside Israel. He was sent back. He's Jewish. He's a Jew, put it this way. And now let me tell you about, well, he has some little problems with certain people here, with Dershowitz at one point. With Dershowitz, Alan, yes, Alan, that one. Another Jew, but it doesn't matter. It's whatever happens, happens. You know, Harvard professor, constitutional law, blah, 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 blah. That, Dershowitz had a problem with Norman Finkelstein. If you know Norman Finkelstein, he wrote that book that they don't like, which was called, and I'm quoting, The Holocaust Industry, I think it was called, wasn't it? And he was at Democracy Now! With Amy, whatever her name is, Goodman. Is a program, if you're familiar with Democracy Now! You can find online, with Amy Goodman, and Noam Chomsky called out Alan Dershowitz for plagiarism. And Dershowitz then supposedly pulled some strings and blocked Norman Finkelstein's tenure at DePaul University, I think. So then that was it. I think something like this occurred with Mr. Chomsky. All right, now, my Chomsky experience. When I went to Romania at one point, I went on the mountains. I like going in the mountains. I like this kind of activity and experience. And I went to the mountains, Romanian mountains, the Carpathians, and I met over there 4 Israelis, 3 men and a woman. No relationship between any of those guys. So they were in the military, or they were, but who wasn't, or who isn't over there in Israel? I think they all have to go through military or something. But the 3 men were in the military, and the woman, I don't remember, I didn't pay attention to her, because I was more interested in political issues with my 3 Jewish or Israeli acquaintances, new acquaintances. Very interesting guys, very intelligent. One of them was their boss, you could tell, not only as a rank, he was their boss, and he was a fantastic guy. I like the guy a lot. I don't mind, at one point we had a Facebook, but I fucked up my Facebook at one point, and I can't remember his name, so I don't know where he's at in Israel. Well, they said if I show up over there, I'll be treated like a king. If I'm going to be treated like the king of Israel, if you know what I mean, I'm not going to show up, especially now. But anyway, when I mentioned, I thought I will, you try to build rapport with them and try to find common things. And I started mentioning, Howard Zinn and Noam Chomsky. Man, when these guys heard Chomsky and Howard Zinn, especially Chomsky, oh my God, they were like hitting the table, like if they would have an automatic weapon, they would right there on the spot, Mr. Chomsky. And then that I heard how they were pronouncing Chomsky. They were like Chomsky. Okay, my man. But it was a good experience. We had a lot of interesting conversations. So Chomsky, in relation with Epstein, never good. Epstein, never good. So it's very strange that all this fell. We didn't hear anything about any Epstein, any blue book, black book, screw book, nothing like that. Isn't that interesting? I personally do not discard anything occurring among the so-called elites, because they're, I don't know them, but from what I read, they're not very, you know what I mean? I don't want to say not natural, not normal in a certain way of behavior. So, as you know, Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his cell. I gotta tell you that I have some experience with that kind of department, and I'm telling you, where I worked, it was a really low level of the security level, and something like that would not be possible in that environment, let alone in where Epstein was, high security, blah blah blah, cameras, controls, all that. Nothing worked. I mean, people who work in the system or worked in the system in that kind of environment, they know that so many things are not functional right there. It's like, I don't know, it's like you have to go from here to the airport and you have like 7 variables and all of them become constant, or when you hit them, no problems. I know the probability of that is 0.00000, like you win a lottery 3 times in a row, something like that. So anyway, my friends, it's very interesting that we live in this kind of free world full of democracy and justice and all that, At least they let us drink our empty glass, and let them watch their games and their stupid view and whatever they watch, and let us go and have a job and pay our taxes, and if possible keep our mouth shut, right? And die whenever we can't work anymore. As soon as we retire, the next day we're dead somehow. So we don't collect any Social Security or pension or 401k or anything like that. Anyway, the communists were right about a few things. The exploitation of man by man. They were right about that one, and many others. Maybe I will make a video on that. What they were telling us and what the communists are lying. Why? Because they lied so many times you wouldn't believe them. Like, for instance, I don't believe anything CNN, Fox, and these guys say, or people in general. You have to verify that, with at least 3 sources, independent sources. Not only CNN, MSNBC, and Wall Street Journal. Those are not 3 independent sources. They might seem independent, but yet. All right? So, anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Chomsky, that's something there. Remember, there's no smoke without a fire. Now, you can make the smoke bigger and say the fire is bigger, but I don't know. I don't really care. If they find he abused some children, he should be obviously indicted, judged, in court, and convicted and receive the penalty. Monsters are monsters. They need punishment. Some of them commit suicide. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.